Welcome to another episode of Ask Dubey. This show is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION. Bet365 must be 19 or older. We'll jump right into the game. Not a bad game for the Oilers. Obviously a bad result. Losing 1-0 sucks for the team, sucks for the goalie. You did just about everything you could do. And they ran into the hottest goaltender in the league in Jesper Wallstedt, and he has been very good. I hear a lot about it around here and see a lot of it, obviously being in Minnesota here, but he has been the real deal this year. And unfortunately for Edmonton, that run didn't stop for them. But on the positive side, this is 2 games in a row now. You're coming from a shutout to a 1-goal against. So with all of the talk around the defense and the goalies and the goals against and all this is 2 good games in a row now. If they can start putting these together back to back where they're getting solid defensive efforts, solid goaltending, we all know the goals are coming. There's too much talent there. That's not an issue, and that will then turn into offense if they can continue to play defense as they are and get the goaltending they are. So if you take a positive out of it, it's 2 games in a row with 1 goal against total. And if they can continue that, we know that it's just, guys are too good. You're not keeping Connor and Leon off and Nuge and these guys you're just not keeping them off the scoreboard. So good trend for Edmonton here, and we'll see if they can keep it going. And with that, let's get to the questions. Okay, let's get to the first question here from Average Volumer. In your opinion, what's the strongest asset a goalie can have? Hands and eyes, movement, or positioning? I don't know if I can pick one. You named 3 things that are very, very important for a goalie to have, and they kind of all work together. You can't use your hands and your eyes if you're not set up properly, which is then your goes into your movement. And this is the thing that I've learned in the second half of my career in Minnesota is this head tracking, and it's putting yourself in the right position. That's looking at the puck properly. That's your stance and your setup, which allows you to use your hands and eyes. It also allows you to move properly. It allows you to get from A to B, how you want to get there, the quickest way you can get there, and not bobbing up and down when you get there, which then works into positioning because you're getting to where you want to go quicker, which means you have more time, which means you're in better position. So all of these things work together. And I think when you look at goalies throughout the league and the best goalies in the world, they have all of these assets, and some are stronger than others. Some guys have incredible hands and incredible reaction, and it allows them to do things a little differently. You look at a guy like Mike Smith when he played in Edmonton, some of the best hands I've ever seen in my life from a goalie. I mean, he would stand a foot off his goal line in practice, and guys would wire it at him, and he would just pick them off like it was nothing. And I had pretty good hands, but they weren't even close to that, so I couldn't stand on my goal line and pick pucks off like Mike Smith could. So he had that asset. It allowed him to play more conservatively position-wise, and he could be places quicker because he didn't have as far to go. So he used that to his advantage, and that's when his career really took off, was when he kind of worked with that and realized that was an asset and played back in his crease a little bit because he was able to with how good his hands were. And then, maybe he didn't skate as well as you take a guy like Sorokin or Shesterkin. These guys are able to play further out of their crease because their skating is elite and they can go further quicker than other guys. So that allows them then maybe to cut the angles down off a little bit more than another guy who can't get from A to B the same way. And so all of these goalies have these. They're all important together. And you see the variety of goalies and the way they play differently because they're using those assets that they have in different ways. And really, I look back on Marc-Andre Fleury when he started his career. Marc-Andre Fleury, one of the best to ever do it, unbelievably athletic, unbelievable skater, faster than everything, especially coming out of junior like that. But he played so far out of his crease that he was almost just keeping up. He was so fast that he was able to keep up, but he was running around more than he needed to. Anybody else that tried to play like that would have got absolutely toasted, but he was able to do it because he was so fast. Well, then he got a little more conservative with the positioning. He still played aggressively and had to because of his size and his ability, but he got a little more conservative, a little more controlled. Now all of a sudden this speed and this exceptional athleticism becomes a huge asset because he's not putting himself out of position. So I love just diving into every different goalie and seeing the way they play stuff, the save selections they use, where they play in their crease, all based off of the things they do best. All right, we'll move on to the next question here from Jake McMahon. Do goalies, I'm going to try to word this, I think I know what he's saying. Do goalies around the NHL worry about solving them or getting solved by the other team or the other players? Does it cause variety in a goalie's game? So I'll tackle this. I think we know what was asked here, and do you worry about getting exposed or your weaknesses exposed or figuring you out? And no, I don't think that. I think that all the goalies are really good, and also it's difficult to create offense. So a lot of times when you think of like, oh, he's weak, high glove. Well, there's a whole lot more that goes into that. Is maybe the goals go in high glove because of what happens in front of him, or maybe he is weak high glove because of the way that he sets up on that side of his body, the way his eyes work, the way his body works. Maybe he is, but can you really expose it? That's more difficult to do because it's a hard game and it's hard to get into shooting positions. And then you're being contested by the best defenseman in the world, or some guy's trying to run you over, and things just happen fast. So yes, the best shooters in the world can expose this stuff, but I don't think they're exposing it down to the individual as much. Now, I think that changes a little bit when it comes to a playoff series. I don't think, like I said, game to game in a regular season, especially when you're playing teams only a handful of times. But when you get into a playoff series, I think that more goes into trying to expose a goalie's weaknesses. And that's not necessarily figuring them out, but it's figuring out what's going to give you the best opportunity to put pucks by them. And is that moving the puck laterally, up high early on? If a guy doesn't move as well after one push, is it a team strategy to cross the blue line and ship a pass all the way across right away or right at the blue line just to get that initial movement? Or does he not do well with point shots or screens? Are pucks not good at his feet? These are things that in a playoff series, the teams will look at trends and try to expose this stuff, and it's a whole lot easier said than done. Like I said, there's a lot of good defending teams, and it's not always easy to get open shots and do what you want to do, but teams will try to figure this stuff out. And that's sometimes when you see goalies in playoffs that they do get exposed, and you see guys whose statistics and success rate doesn't match up the same in the playoffs. And sometimes it is because that research and advanced statistics have gone in there, and the other team not only has discovered it, but they've been able to go out there and actually execute and expose the weaknesses of the other goalie. All right, next question coming in from Terrapin Tom Collins. Which goaltender or goaltenders have you been most impressed with this season? I'm going to go with a few that we don't necessarily usually talk about. I'll give you a few here. First off, Scott Wedgwood. It's been unbelievable this year, and I've liked what he's done. I think he did a great job last year as well, but when he got put in a position this year to be a starting goalie with Mackenzie Blackwood hurt, he has just been incredible, to the point that now Blackwood's back and they can't just relegate him to being a backup goalie. He's just been too good. And when you watch a guy, there's times when guys get hot, and you can see that there's an end to that. And I just really like the way that he's playing. I don't necessarily see an end to it. One, because he's playing great hockey. He is athletic for being not a big guy. He plays a great position, but he's incredibly athletic. But he's just, combine that with the fact that he's got a really good hockey team in front of him, and confidence level for that entire group is through the roof. I don't see anything stopping them, and Colorado has one heck of a goalie tandem going forward, as well as a lot of assets up front too. So anybody who watches that team knows they're pretty good. But another guy been very impressed with is Jake Allen, who was also, again, put in a situation that you don't necessarily always get put into. And he's a journeyman. He's been around for a long time. And man, is New Jersey getting their money's worth out of him, because he's played very good hockey, won them a lot of hockey games when their big money starting goaltender goes down. Jacob Markstrom's a great goalie, and their pay structure, that's kind of their guy. And then they have Allen to back up, and they've come in, and Jake Allen has given them everything and more that you look for in a starting goaltender, and allowed them to be where they are. in the standings right now. So good for him, and he's going to continue to get starts as well throughout the year. And hopefully, Markstrom's had some injury issues in the past, and this could allow New Jersey to maybe not play Markstrom as much and not force him as much, and hopefully keep him a little more healthy going forward. And lastly, we'll touch on a guy who's a little bit in that Team Canada Olympics mix, and Logan Thompson in Washington has been really, really impressive, and to the point that, if you're talking about who's going to start games, I know we keep going back to Binnington and what he did in the Four Nations. Obviously, the year hasn't been as good for him at the start. I still think he's earned that opportunity to be there and start games because you don't get to discount performances like he had in the Four Nations. He did it, and it's real, and it's recent. But Logan Thompson has been lights out in Washington this year and looks really good doing it. A little bit of a unique style. The way he plays is really bent over in his stance. But man, he stops the puck, and he's making it real hard to not get starts come Olympic time. So those are three guys I've been impressed with. I'm just impressed with goalies in general around the league. I think there's just so much talent and variety as well. I always tell younger goalies, like, you have to be yourself. You have to be your own goalie, because if you go look at the 64 goalies in the NHL, everybody's different. And that's what's so fun about watching them play, is there's not a bunch of robots out there. Everybody has their own style, plays their own way, and it's just super entertaining to watch. Okay, next question from Vincent Medak. I don't know if I said that right. This is a kind of a funny one. Have you been approached, or would you consider, if approached, to do a consulting week with the Oilers goalies? Skinner in particular, I think you often have great points about where he could improve. No. I don't think NHL teams are writing me checks to have consulting weeks with the goaltenders. I would definitely like to think that I can help out and add and help them, and I'd be happy to talk to Stu, because I know that what he's been through. I've been through it in Edmonton. I've been through the tough times and getting through there. So just as a fellow goaltender, I wish I could help him out and just having someone to talk to. But there's no magical fix. I'd love to tell you that I'm some magic goalie coach that's gonna fix something. But hey, if they do approach me, I'll let you know, and I definitely sign up for it. But I don't really think that's a thing, so I'm not holding my breath. All right, next question here from Jim Taddy 77. Hashtag Ask Dubey. Does Nurse, Bouchard, and Skinner merit the amount of hate they receive, or are they the most overhated men in the NHL? I don't think anybody deserves the amount of hate that anybody gets. These guys certainly take the brunt of it, and it's tough. I don't know these guys that well. I can guarantee you that they want to win, they want to do well, and they want the Edmonton Oilers to do well. So you always have to remember that they're not going out there and sabotaging anything. With Nurse, I think it's a little bit of his contract, and listen. I'll take $9.2 million and have everybody hate me because of the amount of money that I'm getting all day. He can go to sleep on that at night, but he's still a human being, and it probably sucks a little bit. And so I think you gotta step back a little bit and be like, that contract signed, it's what it is. It's not his fault. You wouldn't say no to it. You'd take that all day and look at just the defenseman that he is and what he's going to bring to the table and what his game is, because he's still a guy that can be a positive to the team. He's big, he's mean, he plays defense. He brings all of these good assets to the team, and they're kind of overshadowed because he's making over $9 million a year. And so there's no point in continuing to balance those things, because that's not going to change, and I don't think he's ever going to be a $9 million player. And that doesn't make him a bad guy or a bad player. And so if you can eliminate that and try to look at the positives that he brings, that helps with him. With Bouch, everybody just wants to see playoff Bouch because they know he's there. You're not going to get playoff Bouch for 82 games, but it's, he got the big contract, which he's more than earned. And it's just something that everybody knows he's capable of, and they want to see it. They know how great he can be, and they just want to see, it's the way he plays and the way he goes about things that when things aren't going well, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look like he cares. It doesn't look like he's trying, which again, I can guarantee you as a hockey player, he cares. He's not going out there and saying, screw this. I'm too cool for this. I don't care. That's not the case. But he does need to find a way to limit the blatant errors and correct. And, he has a deal now. So it's on him to become that player. And with him, he's capable of becoming that player. He's shown everybody that. And I think that's where the frustration comes, because for all the hate that he gets, if he can turn that up and be that guy more consistently, and then be that guy that we saw in playoffs, that hate's going to turn into a whole lot of love for Bouch, which everybody saw come last playoff time. And hey, I talk about Stuart Skinner all the time. No, he doesn't merit the hate. First of all, no goalie does, but he's got a great attitude. He's doing what he can in a very, very difficult situation. And whether or not, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the Oilers should or shouldn't do, if they should go find somebody or not at the moment. That has nothing to do with Stuart Skinner. All I know is he's been through a lot. He's got through a lot. He's played through a lot. And he cares and wants to be in Edmonton, and he wants to win with this group. So you can be frustrated with his performance, but it's always drawing a line on the hate, because it affects him as a person, guaranteed, more than you think. And he's a guy that is playing hockey. He's a great goalie. He's trying to do his thing, and so you can be upset with the performance, but draw the line with the hate on him as a person, and remember that he is a person that goes home and does the same things you do at night. He just happens to be really good at stopping the puck. So hopefully the Oilers can get things rolling here, and we can talk about how much love these guys are getting instead. Hey guys, that's it for another episode here of Ask Dubey. Don't forget to get your questions in. Either drop them in the comment section below here, or on any social media with the hashtag AskDubey. Any of our Oilers Nation, get them in. I love answering these questions. Keep them coming. If we don't get to them, we'll get to them at some point. This segment brought to you by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products are in the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, Wilhauk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. It is so good. Wilhauk Beef Jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can order online. Get your jerky on. For more info, go to wilhaukbeefjerky.com.